passing around sign-in sheet. Put your name on, just for purposes of the minutes, and then that can just go in. Thank you.
So everyone, we're about ready to start, but we've started around a pad of paper. We were here last month, we had everybody introduce themselves. That took a little bit of time. If you don't mind, just putting your name on the paper here, just so we can get it in the minutes, or attempt to get it in the minutes a little more accurately. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, they're past this minute.
Watch finally said 7 o'clock, so we're going to keep going here. We'll call the meeting to order. And before we get started into our business, this is Veterans Day. Thank you for the veterans in the room. Thanks for your service. We got some here at the table that are veterans, so thanks anybody out there who's a veteran. And as far as our business tonight, we're going to do similar to what we did last month, which was invite our speakers to speak first so that you don't have to stay for the whole meeting. So it's been requested, I think, Mary, I think it was requested that you do first. So we're going to move to our new business, just for everybody, to save everybody's information. Switch to our new business and have business Mary after Kevin Brasher talk. Then we'll go back to the top of our other visitor list, starting with Tom Donovan. Tom here? I didn't see him. So if Tom doesn't show up, then Patty, you will be first on the list. Okay. So our topic is the Mill Creek Park Trail Sign Project. So it sounds very interesting. So very good.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Mary Hultgren, and Kevin Brasser is here with me. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk to you. Gave you a handout just so you have kind of some of the basics, and we hope to make this fairly quick, at least tonight, because it looks like you have plenty of other business to attend to other than this. We would like to proceed with at least the sketch of a plan that we have so far, with creating kind of a self-guided tour around the trails, the walking trails, the recreational trails around Mill Creek Park, around the lake, and back in the woods, etc. I believe there's actually, counted 4 different trails there. And we feel that a self-guided tour wouldn't be like a continuous talking tour. It would be something that, like, you could use QR codes or barcodes and place those around on some of the different signs that already exist, and then some additional ones to identify where the person's at on the trail, what they're looking at, history, different, educational things, even the ecology of the wetlands that are part of the whole park system there. And I know Kevin actually, when I came to him and talked to him about it, said that this was something that he had discussed at one point with his own environmental science class. And then, of course, COVID hit. So we were kind of surprised that we were both coming up with this idea. We both retired this past year and are both interested in working on this project. So would you like to talk about talking to Sarah, Sandra?
Yeah, as you are well aware, the trails up there have been there for years. Then, about 11 years ago, my son, through a scholarship project, Bryant, put up signage of distances and color-coded the trails and so forth. Made a little history trailhead. And so that's where it's at now. And we just thought with technology the way it is that, like Mary said, we could QR code the signs and put all sorts of neat things from what about geese and the history of the lake and different species of trees. And being both teachers and recently retired, we still want to get the school kids involved because we feel that's very, very important. And so I've contacted the teacher who took my place. Her name is Sandra Nineheis. She's now the new biology and environmental science teacher. She's on board to have her kids help out. And our vision is that the kids would create a website about a certain aspect of the park or ecology. For example, Canadian geese. As you know, there's hundreds of them out there. But what about them? Where do they go? How do they live? Etc. And then maybe on the flip side of that, maybe near the campground, we could have campground regulations and concession stand menus and all kinds of things, beach rentals. You can go on and on. There's about 100 signs out there, give or take. And we walked the trails several times in the last month. And there are a few signs that are damaged that we'd like to replace. And there are a few that we feel should be added at certain curves and turns and so forth and so on. So we figured this roughly, I don't know, Mary, what do we say, maybe 20 to 25 additional signs. That would put us at about 110 or something. And again, the kids at school and us would create this QR code resource on the website. So you go up to a sign and you scan it with your QR code, and it immediately brings you to the O'Brien County website or something similar to a certain aspect of nature, the campground, whatever. And no matter where you are in the park, you would know where you are. It would give you a location, a GPS location, all kinds of neat stuff. There's endless possibilities with this thing, and we're just hoping to get it started. I talked to Darwin a couple days ago, and our vision is to just get started this year into next summer, work out the bugs, see what works the best, excuse me, and then continue to finish Mill Creek State Park. And then possibly, if we're ambitious and there's help and so forth, to go to Dog Creek and to Delma Park and so forth and the other O'Brien County places and maybe do something similar. I don't know. So that's just a rundown of what we're thinking about doing.
Yeah, and one of the areas that I have more experience with isn't really the science behind this, but the whole website and computer aspect of it. And I'm not sure exactly how this would work, but if you know how a QR code works, it takes you to a website. So really each of these QR stickers or whatever we put out there will have to be linked to a page on a website. And I know that you already have a website. I don't know whether that's something that, that would be available to us to add those pages, or if we would have to create a website, separate. But I really think in the long run, we need to have it something that you have control over, that your director and assistant director and your naturalists have control over. I mean, we're retired and, God willing, we'll be around for another 30 years, but if it's something that you want to keep going and, sustain and make it useful, we need to be able to work with those people and have something with the website that, is also sustainable, that it would be something that it isn't just something that I have access to and I created a website and here it is, it's your website. So I guess for now, at least, I'm not sure what your procedures are as far as, can we have a resolution to go forward with this, or do we need to come back, or do you need to, mull it over and keep it on your agenda for another time to have it approved? We need some resources. We need the website. We need some of the signs and the posts. We need something that's going to create the QR codes in a manner that's going to stick, or that we screw on to the posts, or something. Those kind of decisions would have to be made going forward.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That's a terrific idea, I think.
Do we need a motion for them to go on with it?
I have a question though. In terms of, do you have any costs that right now in terms of how much would be involved in this whole?
No, but we could work on that. Like I said, in terms of physical things that we need, I think we need more signage at Mill Creek, maybe 20 posts and those plastic signs. I don't know if anybody's here from Mill Creek. And I don't know what those cost. They don't look real expensive, right? I don't know, or...
You're talking about the metal package with the
The
directional.
ones with the directional arrows,
Yeah.
that kind of thing on them.
I don't know what, I don't remember.
I
So-
don't know either, yeah, what the
Yeah,
price
we-
was. I know we got a stack of extras in there yet too.
Oh,
so-
okay.
Not very many, half a dozen, yeah. Is that all?
That is reduced.
And then the vision is you can either outsource making QR codes through some company, but you can also get a QR code printer. And with everything that our vision is at, with not only Mill Creek, but the other parks in the county, and then to replace them, you know, like weather damages them, kids vandalize them. There's some that are gonna get wrecked, peeled off. It's probably best if we would have our own printer that we could just reprint QR codes. We think that we can get some kind of material that is kind of like license plate stickers that are really, really sticky and stay on really well. Yet even with that, you're gonna have some issues.
Right, you have to be able to replace those
Replace
things.
it.
But I really didn't think, coming into this tonight, that we were actually going to be a new business item on your agenda. I thought we were just going to be informational, so we didn't actually sit down and put any of those numbers on anything.
Right, that's what I would suggest. We don't need a motion for you to do this. I think we're interested in the idea, so you can, since this is a kind of a draft work document, I guess, so if you can work to come up with a 90% plan of how this is all going to work and how this just feed information through Amber. And then when you get to a point where it's a pretty complete plan, you kind of have an idea about resources and so on, then we can, I think, do a formal motion and authorize expenditures and so on.
Along that line, I guess, I don't always know where the best places are to get these resources, and maybe once,
Well, if you just
once we have a director and a naturalist, they may have some of those kinds of ideas of where to get, you know what I mean?
Right. I'm just saying, you can come up with a list of what you think you would need. We'll figure out the physical materials.
Okay.
The other thing I question on in terms of, would this be something that could be covered by a grant that could be written also?
Possibly.
I think we could look into that.
When Kevin and I talked, Kevin says we'll try 5 first, the trials, make 5 of them and see how they work for a couple of weeks before we decide to go on. And that's what we talked about. I think it sounds like a awfully good thing to try. It's very new technology to me. And I bet it's will be one of the first in the state to do such a thing.
There are several national parks that have QR coded their trails already. If you go online and just type in QR coded natural trails or whatever, they'll bring you to different places out west and Yellowstone and so forth. So it's not that we're pioneers in this thing, but around here I think we are probably. But are there any other questions or concerns just with our idea that we could answer right now?
Great idea. The only thing I want to know is there any objection to these guys moving on and coming up with, okay, great.
Okay.
Go ahead and let's move this forward.
I might know a company that can do QR codes that will stick, so I'll contact you personally and let you know.
Sure, yeah. Our contact information is up there at the top.
Perfect, that's what I was gonna ask, and then I closed my eyes and saw it, so.
Yes, if you have some ideas, that would be fantastic.
And anyone has a point of contact, just use the Amber as a point of contact and feed it.
Sure, for now.
She'll feed it to us.
Okay.
And if you guys have any questions just off the cuff, informal questions, just email us.
Okay. Email it on here, no.
When is your next meeting?
Are you monthly or?
Second
That's-
Tuesday.
Second Tuesday, okay.
Second Wednesday. Around the week.
Okay, I can do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's take these if you want to come and present to us.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much. That's terrific. All right, now, let's go back to public comments, people who are on the agenda. So, fill those out, yes. Okay, Kathy, you're right.
Okay. I have a handout here. I don't have too many of them, but I will. And since Chris shows some distance, you know the trail. Here you guys. I'll quickly do this. Okay. Okay, on Friday, October 30th, Brian Schimmer took Darwin Dow, Todd Strew, Carolyn Bootsman, and I on a tour of the trails around the Prairie Heritage Center. All of us were in awe of the beauty of the area and were impressed with the well-maintained trails. Thank you to the staff for their many hours of work to provide these trails to the residents of Bryant County and neighboring counties. After our tour, the three of us went back to the timber that Brian suggested would be a good area for an additional horse trail. We proceeded to mark a trail through the timber, often commenting on what a beautiful horse trail it would be. A trail through the peaceful area next to the Little Sioux River that so few people, except those who hunt, see. A trail in that location would provide an opportunity for people on horseback and even hikers to see more of the beauty of Bryan County. So if you want to look at that handout that I gave to some of you here, if you look at it, I've marked on here, the additional trail would start from the northeast corner of the existing trails and go down through here along the Little Sioux River here. It would end up on the north of the cemetery, the trail north of the cemetery. That would be the additional trail. On here, the X is the cemetery, the U shape is the pond, and the little dotted lines is the extension of the 100-foot extension of the parking lot that we would like to do. So that's just a reference so you know kind of what we're talking about. Plus we would use the other trails, the grass trails. So if you turn to this next page, I've taken some pictures of the area so that some of you have been down through there and some of you haven't, and I don't know if the board had a chance to go down through the area that we marked, but this will give you an idea of what it looks like. Picture number 1 is of the existing grass trails that we could use. They're beautiful, they're well maintained, they're mowed in the summer, if it rains, once a week. The second picture is of the pond. You have to excuse my printer and didn't do a real good job of capturing the beauty of that pond. That pond in the front down here, you can see it's dammed up. There's a trail over the pond that hikers and walkers, horse people, we could use that to go over, and it's just beautiful down in there. Okay, so the picture number 3 down in the corner is where the trail starts near the cemetery. And the cemetery is like right over here. We've stayed away from the cemetery as much as we could. And I know starting there, people are going to look at that cemetery too. It's very interesting. Okay, so this would be the start of the trail. As you can see in the picture, we've marked the trails with orange tape. It almost looks like it's a natural trail downhill through there. You can see there's a trail. The next picture, number 4, is a picture of some of the timber, the logs that are on the ground that we would have to use a chainsaw to cut up and remove from the trail. There's not very many. I think I tried to count as I was walking through. There's probably 4, 5, 6 maybe that need to be cleared out of there. And then going back to 3, you can see, picture 3, you can see how open the area is. It would not take much work to do a trail there. So if you flip over to the second page, or the third page, number 5, once again, just shows you some of the debris where a trail would go. It's all logs, decaying logs. Might need a chainsaw, might just need some burly guys to pick them up and throw them off to the side. Number 6, there is a fence. This shows the fence up against the tree there. There's a fence post, and then down on the ground there's some woven wire and a fence down there that would need to be cut and rolled back up, because those of you who ride horses, you know that a fence in the ground is not good for a horse. So there's just a couple spots along the trail that we would use to do that with. And picture number 7 down here at the bottom, I just took that to show what a beautiful area it is. This is the Little Sioux River, and the trail is down there. It doesn't go way down to the bottom to where the water is. It's up a little higher, but the views are beautiful. It's just a beautiful area. And you can see this, I took these last Thursday, no leaves, nothing green, but you can imagine in the summer, in the spring, how beautiful this would be. And then the last picture is the end of the trail, the northeast corner of the existing trails. This is where it goes up quite a steep hill. But if you look closely at the picture, we did try to use deer trails because they were through there and they were really good examples of a trail. And if you look closely, like right up through the middle of the picture, you can see the deer trail. And that's what we have marked up to the top. And then the other page, Zip and I and some friends went to Stone State Park in Sioux City a week ago Wednesday. Would you believe it? We were riding horses down there. I took a picture of their trail rules that they had posted. So just for information, some people get the idea of horses in a trail ride. We go willy-nilly in all different directions and wherever we want to go. That's not true. In all of these parks that we ride in, we are required to stay on the trail. And we are bikers and so forth need to, what do I want to say? They need to yield to us. They need to get off the trail to yield to us. There's rules that go along with this. And then also on the bottom, I just took a picture of the trail sign, one of the trail signs that they have there that could be used to mark a trail. And you can put hiker, a picture of hikers, bicycle, horses, whatever on there. So that's just a little bit for your information. We have met with resistance to our request to allow horses on the trails on a Bryan County conservation land. There's a concern that ATV riders will be the next special interest group that will request access to the trails. ATVs are not required on the 1,600 plus acres of DNR owned ground in the county, nor are they allowed on multi-use trails in Bertram Reservation near Peterson, Martin's Access near Larrabee, Stone Park in Sioux City, and Newton Hill State Park near Fairview, South Dakota, just to name a few. ATVs are disruptive to wildlife as well as damage the trails. Another concern is the effect horses will have on wildlife. Very little to none. There is nothing more natural than a horse walking on the grass trails and in the wooded area. There have been many times my friends and I have come across deer in the timber that simply stop eating and look to see who we are. American Trails Society says horseback riding is less disruptive to wildlife than any other type of outdoor recreation, including hiking. According to a recent post on their Facebook site, the Bryan County Sportsman's Club is opposed to horseback riding, mainly because of the disruption it will have on wildlife and hunting. In the O'Brien County Sportsman's Club Articles of Incorporation, Article 3 says, the purpose or purposes for which the corporation is organized are to promote outdoor activities and recreation in O'Brien County, Iowa. To stay true to their purposes, the Sportsman Club should be promoting horseback riding instead of opposing it. There is also the argument that hunting and horseback riding are not compatible. They are. In parks where hunting is allowed, such as previously mentioned, Bertram Reservation and Martin's Access, horses are banned October 1 through May 31st. Trail riders respect and obey these restrictions. We do not want to be in a park where there are guns or bows, arrows, anything. We respect that totally. That gives hunters access to the area for 8 months and 4 months to those who enjoy trail riding. Seems to me like it's a win-win situation. The trails around the Prairie Heritage Center are beautifully maintained, so it might be hard to imagine them dotted with horse manure. Lindahl, PhD, published an article in the Equine Land Conservation Resources newsletter on that very subject. In her article titled, Horse Manure on the Trails, Should We Do Something?, she says, horse manure is basically grass bits formed into balls by enzymes in the horse gut. When deposited, it is wet, but it dries quickly. When it dries, it is like grass on the trail. While it may be inconvenient on the trail, horse manure is not dangerous. It does not cause disease, nor does it carry invasive weed seeds that will germinate. On the Bryan County Conservation website, the purpose of the board is discussed in the first paragraph. And the following paragraph says, what that all means is the Bryan County Conservation Board is here to provide positive outdoor recreation and natural resources opportunities for you. That means all of us. Hunting, fishing, snowshoeing, hiking, bicycling, bird watching are all opportunities that are provided, except for trail riding. Trail riding would be a wonderful addition to the outdoor recreation of the area. Therefore, I and other trail riding enthusiasts are asking you, the board, O'Brien County Conservation Board, in the spirit of Iowa Code 350.5 that says you may make, alter, amend, or repeal regulations to lift the restriction of horses on Bryan County conservation land. Lifting the restriction will take effect 10 days after the adoption by the board. This means next spring volunteers can expand the parking lot and after May 31 can clear debris from the proposed horse trail. It is my hope that by next summer I will be able to take my grandchildren on a trail ride to show them this beautiful and historic area of Bryan County. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Patty, and thanks for doing that, and Claude and Darwin, thanks for doing that, putting that together for us. A lot to think about there. All right, up next, visitors Keith Road.
Thank you, Board, for letting us discuss this issue of multi-use in O'Brien County Conservation Land. As you heard Patty talking about, horseback riders are respectful to the neighboring counties that offer us trail rides. Clay County and Cherokee County have both parks that offer both activities, and they seem to be working in conjunction. And to the point of wildlife, our horses are a very natural part of a landscape. And as a rider, I have many, many times also come across either pheasants or deer that have been in their area and are very minimally disturbed by us, as opposed to ATV or motorized vehicle use. This opportunity, I think, would broaden the amount of people who are able to experience the O'Brien County Conservation Land and offer a better showcase of what natural resources we have here to offer. And when I talked to Will Horsley from Clay County, and I thanked him for the work that was done there, he was at Bertram. He was mentioning that a lot of the work was done through volunteers. The Backcountry Horsemen of Iowa provided a lot of support for the trail cleaning. And I think in O'Brien County, speaking with other horse enthusiasts, we would also have local support to help in any needs the Conservation Board would need to create these trails. Many of these trails do already exist in the mowing and just regular hiking we have. So I think it would be minimal effort and work that would be needed by others, and that work could be volunteered if we were allowed, just by your granting that. And in Will's comments, he said to me that Clay County, we look forward to the future projects that support equestrian trails and riders, and the Clay County Conservation Board is excited to see riders from all over the Midwest enjoying the equestrian trails in Clay County. I think this would also broaden, not only in O'Brien County, our local residents, but neighboring residents and areas to the natural resources that we have here. And at the same time, respecting the sportsman's desire to have adequate hunting and game available for their sport. And so I would hope that these things would be considered, and that the two groups would be able to work together. And like I said, the volunteers and any additional support, I think, if was needed, could be rounded up and supported. I know Dave Stoll, when the Clay County Conservation Board needed work to expand their parking lot, he was willing to donate equipment and time. And I know myself, and I'm sure others in this room, and just putting it out there, would be willing to come to that call for any assistance needed. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, who is here to speak for the Backcountry Horsemen? Okay, what's your name?
My name is Jolene Hultgren. My husband and I, we farm between Alta and Aurelia, so I'm not too far away. I'm here representing Backcountry Horsemen, and as this gentleman who I don't know was talking about, Will Horsley, I work very closely with Will, who's the land manager in Clay County, to kind of get the Bertram Reserve, the trails first identified, which it sounds like that part has been started, and then also cleared. That took a while, and then, maintenance. So what I'm here, as far as representing Backcountry Horsemen, we're a volunteer group. It's a non-profit, it's a grassroots organization. We have members up in this area, and we kind of had Bertram as one of our projects this year to get the trails open so horses could use them. And we work closely with land managers, just basically to offer help, maybe set up a work day that's going to be a day where people come, like the day we had when Dave brought his equipment and We did the parking lot, we put in culverts, we improved the trails quite a bit in just a very short period of time because we had about 15 volunteers there. And again, Backcountry is basically here as a support group. We don't want to take over anything. We don't want to tell you how to do anything. Basically, you have questions, if you want to maybe put, you know, something with your trail maintenance in there, we're here to help and to be able to bring some volunteers and people in. I've kind of spearheaded the one in Bertram. I also wrote a grant application for that and received $5,000 from Iowa Lakes to help in maintaining the trails and signage, improvements at the parking lot. I see on her plan is that you need to maybe expand the parking lot just because of the horse trailers, you know, coming in. And on Bertram, you could maybe get one horse trailer in there before we changed it. And then this group, I think, had a trail ride there later on in the summer, shortly after we had done the parking lot. And it was super exciting for me to see all these horse trailers be able to come in, make a turn, park, have a spot, instead of being out on the gravel road. So there's lots of things that you can ask, you know, help from for Backcountry Horsemen. Right here we have a Western chapter. Martin's is part of our thing. Bertram, there's several other county parks that we work with. We only work with public lands, and we're kind of the same as what your Sportsman's group and everything else. We would just want to see public lands stay available for public use. And yeah, there's a season of when the riding is at Bertram. And it's mainly, we wait until the last turkey season is done in the spring, and then we close up before youth season and bow season start, you know, in the fall. And I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. The way it is at Bertram, it's the way it is at Martin's, and you're kind of right in the middle. And I'm sure it would be that same way. I think you've heard some pretty good presentations by these people that live here and would definitely are interested in helping out on the project. So again, we offer help, we offer whatever. If you want some grants written, we know a few ways to write some grants to get this done. But again, we just want to see people using it. I mean, using the public land is kind of the big thing. If we use it, then we're not going to lose it. And you get people out there, whether they're horseback riding or whether they're mountain biking or whether they're hiking, they're geocaching, whatever. You get people out and enjoy the public lands. And that's kind of what Backcountry is for. So if as land managers you'd have any questions, we can sure give you some examples, you know, not only Will, but other areas around. One in Woodbury County is called Southwoods. We work with them quite a bit too. So that's
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's see, next person or next organization, Bryant County Sportsman's Club. You have the floor. I'll talk to you.
Hello, my name is John Farrell and I'm president of the Bryant County Sportsman's Club. On behalf of the Sportsman's Club, I'd like to thank the Conservation Board for the opportunity to speak here tonight. The mission of our club is to raise and expend funds for the purpose of promoting fisheries and wildlife, promote outdoor activities, and actively engage in fisheries and wildlife habitat creation, improvement, and restoration. We have always appreciated the Conservation Board's cooperation with our club on various projects such as the man-made floating island at Mill Creek, the hunting blinds at the Crosby area, and encouraging youth hunting with the hunter safety course. In several of the previous letters from the club, we have stated that we are open to further partnership with organizations and potential projects for the betterment of the county. I personally have worked towards fundraising at car shows, the Okoboji Winter Games, and other various town celebrations to help raise funds to help benefit our club and for the benefit of Bryan County. Our club has helped the 4-H club here in Bryan County start a shooting team, which 2 of our members, board members, went and spent a weekend just to get training for. We've also helped and assisted the HMS FFA shooting team and the Sheldon shooting team, and we have helped a little bit with the NCC shooting team. Just last week, the O'Brien County Sheriff's Department on Tuesday had a qualifying shoot at our gun range by Sheldon. These ranges are open for public shooting and owned by the club at no cost to anybody. We have provided trees to farmers and other landowners for future outdoorsmen, in which I have provided a picture and a personal message that I got. I didn't know there was going to be this many people here, but anyway. We have also given away fishing poles and other outdoor activity gear to the youth that come to our banquet to encourage the future use of county lands for sportsmen. However, in regards to the proposed change of use of county lands to allow equestrian activities, the majority of the Sportsman's Club board and members that have contacted me personally are opposed to these changes. Some of the main reasons for this opposition include the destruction of wildlife activity on these lands, as well as the possible loss of quality wildlife habitat, which goes directly against our club's mission. The Bryan County Sportsman's Club has raised approximately, and this is just a rounded figure that I do not know the exact amount, $750,000 to help provide these lands for the county since it was started in 1986. These monies were used to fulfill our mission statement of promoting outdoor activities and engage in habitat creation, improvement, and restoration. As president of the club, I've researched some of the effects of equestrian activities on and how they affect the wildlife and the habitat. Some of these impacts could be seen through potential disease transfer, which is a McQuaid and Cook study of 1978. Stress on nesting and birthing of wildlife in a study done by Ohio State. Invasive weeds conducted by Cook and Watson in 93. Erosion and wider rutted trails within the wildlife's natural habitat was a study done by Dale and Weaver in 1995. It was also brought up at the September Conservation Board meeting that mountain bikers could also use these equestrian trails for biking. This poses a problem because mountain bikers are typically not out on a nice leisurely ride. Instead, they are going fast, turning sharp, braking harder, and potentially causing more destruction of these habitats. And I got that from a study by Michael Van de Man, and that study was conducted in July of 2004. The times of years that equestrian activities could occur was also discussed at the September Conservation Board meeting, and it was brought up that horses should not be ridden during hunting season. However, at the October Conservation Board meeting, an attendee explained that he, his son, and his grandson were all bow hunters and horse riders, remarking that they could bow hunt from horseback if they choose to do so. That was in an article in the Sanborn Pioneer 2 weeks ago. Which goes against eliminating equestrian activities during hunting season. There seem to be more drawbacks and benefits by allowing these equestrian activities on the public ground in question. If we let horses and mountain bikers onto these lands, what would stop the ATVs and other motorsports from coming in? I was going to close now, but I had a couple phone calls today. I don't know if the one guy is here or not. Anyway, one man said, you know, he brought up riding four-wheelers, maybe 4 weekends a year out here to see if, you know, for older people that can't walk very good or can't ride a horse, we could open it up 4 weekends a year to let them ride out there and see this, which I guess is an idea, but if ATV riders, who is going to control this? And I had another phone call from another guy who stated to me that if these grounds were bought using any kind of REAP or habitat stat money, you really had to follow the rules as far as changing the use of it. He called me about it. I'm just going by what he said. So in closing, our club wants the best for O'Brien County and the natural habitats for fisheries and wildlife. We have had as many as 600 members in our club in the past, and we currently speak for the nearly 400 members, donors, and supporters that have helped our club be successful for the last 30 plus years. I'm here to say that equestrian trails and activities should not be permitted on these lands. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. And Andy, you're up.
All right, so I work for O'Brien County Conservation as a park ranger, but I'm also on the Sportsman's Club. And it's brought to my attention that there's a few people, Denise and Dave, you guys had some issues with the fact that I was on both boards. So, I mean, we worked for 2 hours together out here.
Yeah.
I found it kind of childish you couldn't say something to me.
No, I don't have an issue with you on both boards.
But, so with my board members, I follow suit with them. But I do agree with some of the erosion problems that we would have too. Because as riding horses, do you guys ride side by side, 3 wide, 4 wide? No, we run single file down the hill and everything, correct? Am I right?
It
varies.
It depends.
I'm just asking, I don't ride
trails,
on that.
grass trails side by side.
Okay, and then going through the woods, you're
The woods about
single file. Yeah. So, and that's where our steeper terrain is, right, where the trails are gonna be. So that's where my issue becomes with the erosion problem. And then another issue is the parking lot. I mean, I mean, how big are the trailers that we need to expand the parking lot? 32 feet?
36 feet.
Yeah.
But there's trailers that are smaller and more than.
Right.
It's a matter of swinging around that. You just have room to turn.
Okay. Yeah, and then I mean, if or when this happens, I would say, I mean, let's go north, or go to the south with it. I mean, it's flatter there, right? Why not?
Because your grass is seeded. You got your good habitat to the south where the pheasants are.
Yeah, but you go to a drop off to the north.
Not 100 feet.
Not at 100 feet?
No.
Okay. So yeah, so I am on both boards. I understand, you know, I get both things. I do. Like John was saying, where's it gonna end? I don't know. I mean, you guys, yeah, well, horses, that's it. It hasn't been ATVs and four-wheelers yet, but I don't know.
They're not allowed.
Clay County Virgin.
Not yet, right?
Clay County Virgin Park has been open I've been traveling there for over 25 years. There for
Yeah,
no ATVs.
and that's another area that, I mean, I understand you guys did a ton of work out there. So I talked to someone that, huge, avid horse rider in Sutherland. And I said, well, how often do you do the virtual? She said, it's been miserable. Don't do it at all till this spring. She said, you guys did wonders out there. But prior to that, she said, you couldn't do it. It was terrible. Didn't even try. And
25 years ago it was great.
when it first started,
Yeah.
right.
You couldn't do it because of all of the rain that we had those years. And that rain rushed right through that bottom.
Yep.
It wiped all our trails out. Zelda and I went out there, we got lost. We said, we're not coming here again.
Right.
And then that's.
You guys cleared it up.
That's
So-
the reason why.
Sure, and that's, I know volunteers is used a lot, used heavily. But as Dave knows, we have trouble getting volunteers to show up here. So that's why I think that, I don't know how far to take volunteers when things happen. Because this is gonna be ridden out here during our busy season. Camping's at peak and everything. So, I mean, we're gonna be swamped other areas, and then throwing on additional trails, we have storms and everything, so that's just thoughts.
But we're not talking about changing the trails much from what they are on this particular project. There's not a lot.
That one going along the river edge and everything?
Yeah, but that's such a short thing.
And then,
I don't think you'll have a problem with volunteers with that, really.
That area's been flooding out every year for the last couple of years, so there's gonna be debris every year that's gonna need to be cleaned up.
We're up,
Just on the idea
we're above the flood.
Okay.
with volunteers. I mean, the ones that did work at Bertram, we live around here.
Right.
We're not from another part of the state. It's actually, we were people that used to ride Bertram years ago too, and then when it got all flooded, nobody went there.
Right.
Because, mainly because you just couldn't get through, and because of the bugs and everything else, it was terrible. So nobody went. And this started maybe 2 years ago as an idea, can we bring the horse trails back?
Sure.
And, because it never got closed down to horse.
No, it was open, but it
Yeah, it was
wasn't
always
used.
there, but you couldn't really use it. So that's what the volunteers were, and like I said, a lot of people volunteered on those work days. Zelda was there. I mean, it's not like it's people from somewhere else. It's the grassroots. We put the notice out that we're gonna have a work day today, bring your stuff, people come, and that's where you get your volunteers. It's not that you would be required to have your workers doing it. I think if you rely, Backcountry, we got a network of people that we can bring in and help. That's why kind of I'm here, is just to offer, we're here to help. You need volunteers, ask. We'll get you some.
Right.
I mean, it's really amazing what you get if you just put out that we'd like some help.
Yeah.
And with anything, with whether you want a habitat restoration, planting trees, it doesn't have to be equestrian related. Like I said, we like to see public lands being used.
And then something for the board to think about, and it's something that I kind of thought about for us, is maybe add a fee of some type that would be, maybe they'd have to be a membership of the Sportsman's Club in order to ride out here type of deal. Since the Sportsman's Club, I mean, this was the first property we bought right there, was it not?
You didn't buy that property. You didn't buy hardly any of that property.
How much of that property did you actually
What do you
buy
actually own?
at the time? How many dollars?
Match money towards it.
It was turned over to the Conservation Board immediately.
Hold on. There's a big difference between owning property and putting a down payment on property.
Right, and then owning the property before,
You didn't own it.
neighbor,
And I misspoke at the September meeting. I am sorry for that.
You misspoke tonight too,
How's that?
because I'm the guy that called you this morning about the trails over here.
Yeah?
And you brought up the idea of the ATV thing. Let me talk. All right. The only thing I said to you is, I own the ground beside you here. And the only thing I said to you is that there's people out here, older people, that would give anything to get on a side-by-side and give a tour on top, just to see the beautiful land. I'm not saying tear anything up by no means. And yes, I said 1 or 2 weekends a year to provide that.
But they can only see half of it.
You're exactly
You
right.
can see over there.
You're exactly right. You can only see part of it.
Yep.
So, and there's a reason for that too.
Yep.
So, and we can explain that to everyone here if you wish to.
That shoe goes on both feet.
Yep. If you want to bring it up, we'll bring her up.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But you did bring up riding side by side though.
No, I said give tours with side-by-side with older people. That's the only thing I brought up.
I was driving my truck.
So, that is all I said. And
I guess
I'll
I
be
just
honest with
pulled
you,
over and talked and wrote some of this stuff down.
I had some people a month ago meet me over here at the Kathman, and they stopped. They're older people, and they were from around here. And I brought them out. They got on my side-by-side, and I give them a tour of what it looked like. And that's what I'm saying. Is it's such a beautiful area.
And I'm not going to argue that. But
And there's so many things there. I see pictures that Patty has taken there, and they're hard. Nobody really realizes those areas.
How many people come out here and see that pond?
Okay?
That's all I'm saying, John. I'm sorry I corrected you, but I wasn't meaning to tearing it up with, I'm with you.
And that is
I am not there.
Those of them,
I am not there.
You can ride out on the state ground on a bicycle if you want.
I mean, okay, so, but the Hannibal Water and Wildlife Area, which is this, across the road, the Bryant County Historical Society put in $6,000. And the club put in the rest to come up with 25% of the cost, and the rest was paid for with the use of wildlife habitat staff funds. That's all I can tell you. I don't know what that was before I was on the board.
I'm fine with that. What I'm saying though is if you want to own a piece of ground and have executive rights to do whatever you want with it, then you have to pay the money that the county is putting into this to maintain this every year, which you and I talked about today.
Yes,
If
we
we
did.
start pushing $500,000 a year out of our budget to maintain stuff like this, that's a huge deal. And I think it involves the whole county, not just the people in this room. We all are paying that. And if people understand what we're doing here, it's a big mess, and we don't want to go there. And what you're trying to say here, where you own this ground and do it, it's not that way. And I understand that Sportsman Club, I've been a member many, many years too, and most people here have been. And we are not
I worked on this thing 3 weeks. I'm not a hunter, I'm not a horseman. I tried to be fair, and I looked the whole damn county over. We've got 942 acres. All our parts, you add them all together, it comes up to, I don't know, 800 and some acres, and we got 101 acres left. And those are all in small plots all over the county. This ground here, we've got 286 acres. There's 5 miles of trails. We've got DNR ground, walk to hunt on. I tried to be as fair and honest to be everything I could. I've been on the Elterman hunt. I don't hunt. And so that's what I tried to do.
I think you guys do a good job laying it out.
You're doing a good job there.
Yes.
Okay, let's reel this back in. Andy's got the floor, we're not gonna let this, try to do a debate, right? We're not debating, we're just getting information. Thanks, Mike, go ahead.
So we also have the, let me see which property that was. Got someone to start with the Brugman area, which was brought up. The land around that, the gentleman is more than willing to sell. So we brought that up. That's a clean slate. It's got 30 acres of timber, 20 acres of timber on it. We can cut trails through that. It's got a whole gravel pit and everything. And then we just set, I mean, I don't know what, is there 80 acres there that's for sale?
You got the floor.
And so, I mean, that was an option I know Terry brought up, that we could definitely go that and just leave that as a wildlife refuge and let just horse trails go through that as an option for another location if somebody, yeah. But that's what I got.
Okay, thanks, Andy. All right, thanks, everybody. That's everyone that's on our request list to
Can I
speak.
ask a question?
And yes, go ahead.
Okay, Carolyn, you were out and walked it, correct? Okay, perfect. And the only reason I'm asking her is because I know her personally, and I know her methodology a little bit behind riding. Would you take the girls down the incline, that first incline?
I think I would.
Okay.
The girls have learned to go up and down hills, but it looks to me like there's a lot of riding territory that you wouldn't have to go down. You'd have an option, whereas most equine related people like to do that. So I don't know, if it's a good dry day, I possibly, but I think the girls are ready.
Okay.
But you got a lot of flat riding here, so.
That's.
Can I chime in?
Oh, one quick thing. That's what I was kind of wondering. Or if you were thinking like a terrace thing had to be made to go down that first hill, or.
Well, these people do a lot of riding in that kind of terrain, and so I kind of went by what they said. We've done it.
Right. I was just
The
thinking
girls
for,
are
like,
getting older now.
the girls
so yeah, I
and
think
other kids. Yeah.
If it's a problem, it's right to the direction, right from the cemetery up, then it wouldn't be a problem. We right to the direction.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, as far as the topic goes, guys, I can think I can speak for the board. Here, speak up if I'm incorrect. The only thing we're thinking about is equestrian riding, where we have no interest in ATVs, mountain bikes, anything else. So we're going to continue to gather information, and by spring we'll have some sort of board policy in place. But we really appreciate your comments and the information that we're getting. It's really being very helpful for us, okay? But I want to jump back up to the multiple use areas, just because it's relevant. So let's look at that. And what this is, guys, is we'll have this posted maybe on our website, but everybody move forward to the section that says multiple use areas. This is the information that Amber gathered from all the surrounding counties about what they do with their horse riding and so on, what's restricted. And in no county is it open, as far as I can tell reading through this, no county has all of their acres open to equestrian riding. And so it lays out for each county what they do and what they don't do, what they allow, what they don't allow. So it's a good working document for us, as well as your information that you're bringing us. And it's too long to read tonight, but I think let's attempt, Amber, to see if we can post this on our website, on the PHC website, so everybody can have access to what the other counties are feeding to us as well. Would that be possible?
Would that include the email site? To and from the other directors?
I don't know why not. There's nothing
No.
that I see that is personal. So I don't think they would mind, but you might, maybe we should check with them and just make sure that they're okay with us posting their email.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that.
All right. Okay. So we are up. Tell me if I've missed something here, but I think we're done with the public comment section. Yes, board members?
Yes.
All right, so we are going to go back to our regular business meeting. And the first thing we need to do is approve the minutes from last month. Now, if anybody, you're welcome to stay or you're welcome to take off. If anybody else has anything else they want to add to the conversation, ask for time on the December agenda. Okay, and just contact Amber if you put on the December agenda. Okay.
Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you very much. Very helpful.
Thanks for having us.
Very helpful.
Can I make one comment, please? You guys need each other. You gotta quit fighting amongst each other. The outdoor people gotta get together and stay together, because we're gonna get wiped out otherwise. You can quit bickering over who uses this land. We need the people to use it so you have the public backing behind you to continue this. Otherwise, you're gonna lose it all. And so, you need each other. And you gotta work together with each other. Yeah. I've hunted out west on horses all over. They don't scare me. They don't hurt the land. It's the only way you can get into this land. You need this. You need each other.
All those in favor of approving the minutes?
I got a quick question. I got a quick find back. We had 9 loads of gravel. Where'd those go?
What's that?
9 loads of gravel? Where'd those go?
Oh, that was for the trail around that they're talking about around the lake.
Okay, perfect. That was my only question.
Or is that the county gravel you're talking about?
She's talking about the gravel
Oh,
that was got from the engineer.
That was earlier this spring. I'm trying to think where to put that in.
I believe it was used on the roads.
Yeah, down I think, and then we put the red rock layer on top of that.
Okay.
Is what happened, yep.
Any other questions? Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, move a second to approve the bills for November. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion adopted. All right, next item. We can, let's see. Yes, let's move to new business at the moment. And Prairie Heritage Center weekend staffing. Well, let's stop that here. 23. Okay, so we reopened the center on Saturdays, and it's 2 hours on, 3 hours on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And we realized that our volunteer pool is hesitant to come back and help us. So those weekends have been covered by Conservation Board personnel, right, on a rotating basis.
Yep.
And I object to that. We're volunteers, we've never been asked.
Okay. Were you on our list before?
We've been volunteers for a lot of years.
Okay, I think really what has been going on, we've been hesitant to even contact, right? We haven't even contacted volunteers for a few
That
months
would
just
be
because of
correct.
the situation. And I talked to Amber before the meeting and asked her to restart that communication again, just in case there's somebody out there.
Because we're willing.
Okay, very good. We appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate that.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask a question in terms of it? Is there any restrictions in terms of the COVID right now with volunteers coming or going or?
There has been no change in any policies or procedures. So we were still, masks are not required, but they're recommended. Upstairs is walk-through only, is walk-through traffic only, there's not touching and stuff. Downstairs is open to full interactive, up to the person's comfort level. I believe there was a maximum occupancy, of which number I'm gonna forget exactly, but it's posted on both doors of a percentage of the facility. I don't believe there's ever been even close to a problem with that, you know, where we would ever even reach that threshold.
Did that change yesterday with the governor's information? Because I think it's 8 now.
So I have not received any word that it has changed as a policy for us, but it's definitely something that we could look into. I don't know of any change posted policy, does that make sense? But we might need to make some more adjustments.
The governor's announcement yesterday.
I'm sure that's filtering through.
It is filtering.
Our EMA.
Yes, Jared, very much. Jared Johnson.
If you don't have it, I can just forward it from Jared to you.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
So is it the board's thought that we should limit to 8 people inside? Or what are we kind of brainstorming?
Let's wait until you get Jared's directive and then we'll follow that.
Okay.
Okay. And post new signs or whatever is needed.
Okay.
And then also include that in any communications with volunteers.
Okay.
But as far as the question of weekend staffing goes, the first bullet point here is about Saturdays following Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day, that the center would be closed. And I'm okay with that because all of those holidays fall on Thursday or Friday this year. So why not be closed the weekend after that? As far as every other Saturday, I think we ought to be open. What does the other board members think?
I would agree with that. Especially now that we know we have volunteers.
Yeah.
Willing.
Yeah, we want to see the center open.
Yes, thank you.
It needs to be open.
Okay. Anything else for that? Amber, you're clear with that?
Nope, the notes that Brian Schimmer had in here, since he's unable to attend tonight for the board, are right there on page 24. I do not have anything else to add, except for it really would be wonderful to get some volunteers back and try to go back towards providing more hours.
Right, so go ahead and continue that.
Yeah.
Communication. Okay, very good. All right, on with new business. Let's go back to, the only thing left, I believe, is item number 9, talking about the director position, and it's been requested that we go into closed session. So anything else before we go into closed session? Okay. All right. So.
Just trying to remember where we're people situated, and I did all the things I needed, just that kind of stuff.
I like to understand that.
All right, so we're out of closed session, and we have 2 motions to make and vote on, so someone want to, you have the language.
Yes, I will make the motion
that will read, "The O'Brien County Conservation Board awards Terry Bulch's $3,000 and his service weapon in recognition and appreciation for 32 years of dedicated service."
Support.
Can I have that piece of paper?
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Jack, second.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hope she can read that.
Motion adopted.
Maybe that might make it easier.
Thank you.
I was trying to read. If you can't read it, let me know.
Unanimous, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
We'll let you get going.
sorry. Okay.
And who would like to make the second motion about concerning Brian Schimmer?
I will move that we appoint Brian Schimmer as interim director until that position is filled.
Okay. Say that one more time, or Amber, would you get?
I move that we appoint Brian Schimmer as interim director until position is filled.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion adopted. All right, we're to the end of our agenda. If there's no other business, we are adjourned.
And you got a list of visitors?
No, I didn't.